Os. Welcome UNLV students to the Shotokan Karate Studies program. By now you should know you've already warmed up, you've gotten the warm-up that you feel your body needs, you're adequate for starting the program this morning. So let's go ahead and get started with our typical, quick, general warm-up. Ready? And Hajime. Ichi. Ni. San. Yon. Go. Alright, warmed up good there. Let's turn to the side, bring our heels to our glutes. Good, alright. Let's go ahead and do some high knees as well. Get my workout recorded. Here we go. High knees. You can do this slow, just like I'm doing. Again, just bringing your knees up. You can do it fast if you feel like kind of bouncing a little bit, working your calves a little bit. Or if you want to go slow, go slow. And yame. All right, let's come up on our toes, stretching out our calves. And yame. Very good. All right, let's go ahead and do some body hip twists. And yame. Good. Arm up, across the side, stretching out our shoulder. Good, other side. Again, don't hold these too long. Just doing dynamic stretches here. Nothing too static, nothing being held for too long. Switching over. Other side. Good. Feet just widen shoulder width. Go down, touch the floor. Go to the right. Back to center. Go to the left. Back to center. All right, make that a little wider. We're gonna go down to the right, turning up on our left heel, stretching out our hamstring. Good, now we're gonna turn to the left in a long front stance. Pushing on the quad here, pushing the knee over the toe. And down to a runner stand, or a runner stretch. Good. Back up. All right, we're gonna do everything to the other side now. Leaning to the left onto the right heel. Toes pointed up. Stretching out your hamstring. All right, let's rotate that all the way around. Good front stance, long, deep, pushing on the quad, pushing the knee out over the toe, getting a good stretch. Transition that to a runner stretch. And come back to center, come back standing. Good. Turn around, fix your gi. Back to me. Yoi. Subirachi. Pray. Yoi. Seiza. Dojo-kun. 一つ人格完成に人を盛ること。一つ誠の道を守ること。一つと力の精神を養うこと。一つ礼儀を重んずること。一つ景気の湯を戒めること。Ready? That's it. よい。スブラッチ。Ready? よい。So today's class is a beginner class. So I'm talking to my students that are no belt, that are white belt, and that are yellow belt. Okay, so that's about the range that you should be looking at for these beginner classes. All right, and today what I want to discuss and kind of go over is getting better at kata. So this is a great place or a great level to start learning those type of things, right? Because at this point you've probably got the basics down, right? You've got your stances down, you've got your blocks down, right? So I know you've been introduced to that stuff and you're learning that stuff. And so now you're starting to put those things together and string them into kata, right? So you're learning Takeyoku Shodan, you're learning Heian Shodan, Takeyoku Nidan, and Heian Nidan at this point. That's about as far as you've gotten if you're, again, at this highest level belt, highest yellow belt level, okay? So I do get a lot of questions about how do I get better at kata, or just in general, at this point, you should be striving to be better at kata so that as you advance, your kata continues to get stronger and stronger throughout your journey here. All right. So I'm just going to touch on 5 of the things that I think are going to really help your kata, and then we're going to go over some of those things in class today. You can follow along with me, and we'll kind of learn the reasons that this stuff kind of works. All right, and it helps you get better at kata. So number 1, take it slow, okay? So when you go through kata, instead of going through it really fast or trying to rush through it, go through it slowly. Think about each technique, think about your stances, think about, the power that's being generated as you make turns, as you step into various stances and things like that, okay? The next thing would be application, right? So we've talked about bunkai in the past. So think about the application of the kata. A lot of times that helps you really put that into a real world perspective, the practical application of how this can be applied. It helps you not only to do the kata, but I feel like it helps your mindset to say you're not just going through some steps here, right? You're not just doing a dance, this pre-rehearsed set of movements, right? You're actually figuring out how would this be applied in a real world situation, learning the techniques that I'm learning, okay? And that's how I put the program together, right? Is you're learning this particular set of techniques that goes to this kata. You master this kata, then you master the belt, and then you move on to the next set of kihon techniques that strings into, again, towards kata. You learn the kata, you master the kata, you move on to the next belt level. So that's kind of how I've set up the program. The other thing that I would suggest is pad work. Now, if you don't have a partner to do pad work, then I would suggest getting a bag of some sort. So I have a freestanding bag, so I would suggest getting something like that. And again, it's really hard to kind of practice kata on a bag, but you know the techniques, right? So Heian Shodan, for instance, you know you're doing like this Geidama right down block, and then you're doing Oizuki punch, okay? So practice Oizuki punch on your bag, right? Practice Gyakuzuki reverse punch on your bag. Practice Ageuke even. You can do your rising blocks against a bag. So there's things that you can do against a bag, or if you have a partner who's able to hold a pad for you, that really helps as well. Because again, you can see how much power is generated by just simple things, right? The hip twist, sinking into your stance a little bit more. Things like that really help you figure out and discover better ways to generate power. All right, the next thing I would suggest is go through kata with your stances only. All right, so either put your hands on your hips or tuck your hands into your belt here. And again, that really forces you to get into good stances so that you're not thrown off balance, number one, right? But then you also aren't able to use your shoulders to generate power. You have to use your stances, which is where the power is first generated from, right? It's generated up through your leg as you rotate, right? As you sink into a stance, or as you move and then sink, right? That's where your power is generated. And if you put your hands in your belt or on your hips, it really reinforces that, all right? The next thing I would suggest is to loosen up, all right? I see a lot of students going through kata and they're very, very tense. They're very solid, like a robot sometimes. You can see this very robotic movement that they kind of go through with each step, and it's very strained. And the problem with that is you get tired very easily because you're tensing everything up, right? So I would suggest just loosening up. So going through kata in a loose format. So again, we're going to touch on some of these today in class. We're going to go through the kata hand Shotokan and hand Nidan, and we're going to apply as many of these things as we can so that you can get a feel for this is what it feels like to go slow. This is what it feels like to loosen up and not be so tight and so tense. This is what it feels like to go through with only stances, all right? We can't go through pad work, right? I don't have someone to hold pads for me, and I'm not going to bring my bag in here because we're going to be using the floor space. We can also try and talk about application. So I won't go too in depth with application. I'll try just to touch on some applications so you can kind of get an understanding of what I'm talking about when I'm getting into that. I do have some classes already out there on hand Shotokan and hand Nidan and the bunkai for both. But again, I just touch on it today so that you can, again, see some of the things that may help you get better at performing kata and going through kata at this belt level, okay? All right, I'm going to kick my towel out of the way here a little bit. Okay, so first thing, let's go through kata slow. So everything that you would do, this is just normal kata, but we're going to go through it very slowly. So I'm going to do the count. So I want you to go through hand Shotokan at my count. Okay, so we're going to go through all of these. We're going to go with hand Shotokan. Slow, application, stances only, and then loose. Then we're going to do it all again with hand Nidan. Slow, application, stances, and loose. So you can kind of get a gauge on moving forward. Even practicing. Go through the kata hand Shotokan. Go through it using these 4 techniques. Go through it using these 4 variations to get better at the kata itself. All right, if you're just learning it. Again, go through that again with hand Nidan. When you start learning hand Sandan, again, apply these applications of going through the kata at these different speeds, paces, stances only, loose, thinking about application, that type of thing. And it will help you with your kata, okay? All right, so find your spot that you're going to start, okay? Again, this is hand Shotokan, and you're going to listen for my pace because we're going to go through this slow. Ready? Let's go through protocol. Yoi. Sudachi. Ready? Yoi. And now it's kata. Hand Shotokan. And on my count. Ready? Each. Knee. Some. She. Go. Roke. Siege. Hutch. Ku. Hip. Each. Knee. Some. She. Go. Eat. Knee. So. Sheep. And yame. Bow out. Very good. Okay, so you kind of see the pace that you want to go at. You're able to clearly go through each technique, start it, stop it, think about it, move on to the next technique. Start it, stop it, think about it, move on to the next technique. All right, that's the pace that you want to go through. All right, okay. All right, so now let's talk about application. Okay, so we'll start with hand Shotokan, the beginning. So a lot of times people think about kata when they see it, or even in competition, right? There's at least 2 attackers, because usually in competition you have a lead and you have 2 associates that help with kata. So you all do the same kata, and then they show the bunkai for it, for the application. And there's basically 2 attackers. They go through the entire thing. Sometimes they'll switch out who's defending, but that's the gist of it. So kata is not 5 people that you're attacking or that you're defending an attack. Okay, this is not a Jackie Chan situation. This is not a John Wick situation. Okay, it's typically 1 or 2 attackers that you're taking on and getting to the ground. Okay, so that you can then escape and evade. That's the key. All right, survivability is the key. All right, and I'll touch on this again as well. All of our kata start off with a defensive move. All of karate is defense. Okay, you want to defend, counterattack, and try to get away. If you can potentially put your opponent to the ground, that's what you want to do. That gives you a head start, because you're typically going to still be on your feet. You can turn and get away while they're still trying to get up, recover, and potentially chase you if that's as far as they want to go. Okay, so your opponent's coming at you straight on. As your opponent, I'll come here. So I'm here, and I'm going to throw a left cross, right? So I'm just going to throw that left punch. All right. We're here, hand Shotokan. What do we start with? We turn left into a Gatem right down block. Yeah. Let's look at it this way. As that left is coming in, you're going to parry, grab, and pull down. This is Gatem right down block, right? But what you're actually doing is defending a punch that's coming straight to you. That left arm is coming in, you are getting off the X, parrying that, grabbing to control, okay, and pulling down. Now that their arm is pulled down, their head is right here. So you're going to come across with that punch, wrap around their head, or come straight across their neck and chest and dump them to the ground here. Maybe spiking their back on your knee right here, because you still have their arm. Don't lose control. Maybe you spike their back on your knee here. Next thing you do is a hammer fist. Again, control. Another attack while they're on the ground. Okay? And then you can release, step up, and get away. That covers from here that entire sequence. One attacker coming at you straight on. As the attacker, it's going to look like this. I'm punching, you're defending and pulling my arm down. You come and punch me across the face and either wrap around or come straight across my body here and dunk me on my back. Okay, you still have control of my arm, and then a hammer fist to my face. Head, shoulders, not my shoulder. Head, face, ear, right? That's a good place to attack once you have them on the ground. So think about that again. Let's look at it this way. You're coming straight to me with that left. As you come to me, I'm going to parry, control, bring it down. Step in with my Oizuki punch, straight across the face. Go back around to grab their face, turning, twisting, pulling, dumping them on the ground. Their back is probably here because their head is over here. Strike down, escape and evade. right? You stand up and you get away. So that's application, right? So maybe that helps you when you think about going through the kata to say, all right, someone's coming at me here. There's my down block, my punch, coming back to here, and then striking down, okay? All those things, again, really put you in a different mindset, in my opinion. And they will help you with your kata. They will help you get better at kata, because then you actually have a reason to go through the kata and say, this is what I'm actually doing right now. It's not just Kata right down block, Oizuki punch, Kata right down block, Tetsuyuki, Uchi, Oizuki punch. Okay? You're not just remembering a specific order of techniques, you're doing something in a specific order because it's the right thing to do for an attack and defense. Okay? Alright, pad work we skipped, right? If you have a bag or a person to hold pads for you, great. Try that, okay? Try that, because this kata is fairly simple. The only things that you're doing are Oizuki punches. Work that Oizuki punch. Step back into get him right down block. Your partner's holding the bag or any one of these type pads, even mitts, and you're just going to step forward and punch. Feel the transition of your weight. Feel how the power is moved from up to the ground and executed with that punch. Okay? Feel that with that pad work. If you don't have a partner, use your punching bag. Right? Bring your bag over, set it up, set your distance so you know, okay, here's my impact point. Now I'm going to step back into get him right down block and try it. And punch that bag. Okay? Feel what it feels like to have impact and force at the end of your techniques. Right? Instead of just always, when you go through kata, you're just punching the air. See what it's like to actually have an impact on something. Okay? Alright, let's go through the whole thing again. Stances only. And this is fairly simple because for Heian Shodan, it's all front stance until the end when we go through back stance. Okay? But let's do it. Right? That's why we're here. So step into your beginning position. I would suggest either putting your hands into your belt here, all right, or your hands on your hips here. It's up to you. I will go through. I'll go here. Okay. So we announce kata. Heian Shodan. Ready? Stances only. Don't worry about hand movements. But this will test you. Ready? My speed and pace. I'll count it out. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, go. 6, 7, 8, 9, here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And yame. Good. Take your hands out. Okay. So again, focusing on how your feet are moving, focusing on things like, am I in the proper stance? Am I leaning forward? Am I leaning back? Things like, am I popping up and down as I walk? These are things that you can easily pick out when you're not focused on the technique up here. You're just focused on the stance, right? Even I could feel after this, making my turn. Okay? Are you in a good back stance? Are your feet 90 degrees? Right? If you bring your front foot to your back foot. Those type of things are things that you can really start to dial in on at this point. Okay? When you really just focus on going through with your stances. Okay? So now let's go through it with just being loose. Alright? Heian Shodan, loose manner. Alright? So, and what do I mean by that? So, when I'm saying like an Oizuki punch, you're not out and hold and tight. Don't do that. Okay? What I want you to do is punch, physically relax. physically relax. Pretend you're holding a dime or a penny in your hand, and you punch and then drop it. Okay, punch, drop it. Okay, relax. So technique is hard and hit, and then relax. Drop your shoulders. Feel yourself relax. Don't be so tense. Don't be so robotic and really tight and high. Okay, relax. All right, let's go through it. Ready? Again, on my count. Let's go through the protocol. Yoi, stretch, ready. Yoi. Announce kata, relax. Hien shuran, ready. Each, relax. Knee, relax. Some, relax. She, relax. Go, relax. Each, relax. Knee, relax. Some, relax. She, you, relax. Each, relax. Knee, relax. Some, relax. She, relax. Each, relax. Knee, relax. Some, relax. She, here, relax. Each, relax. Knee, relax. Some, relax. She, relax. And yame. Okay? So again, you feel the technique, you feel the power in the technique, then your body is relaxed. When you go through and you actually perform the kata, you should feel this happening, not to an exaggerated level that we just did it, but you should feel those things. You should feel that punch and connection, relax, and then moving on to the next technique. Okay? Catch your breath. Make sure you're not so tense that your muscles are just constantly inflamed and tight and flexing, right? So that when you're done with the kata, you're just exhausted. Okay? You shouldn't be so exhausted. Now, katas can be long and it can take a lot out of you when you're jumping or doing a lot of turns or things like that. And you'll get there. You'll get to those kata that are like that. But again, you shouldn't be tired from tightening your body and being so robotic as much as you're just tired from a kata that's 64 moves. Okay? Alright, good. Let's go through the kata now, just like you would normally go through the kata. Alright? You're showing your sensei that you know how to do this kata. Just go through the kata. Your own speed, your own count. I'm going to be quiet. We're going to go through the kata together. Own speed and pace. Okay? Ready? Remembering all the things that we just talked about, all the things that we just went through, all those 5 points, think about them. Put them into practice now, combine them, right? There's like a wave here, and you're just trying to hit these points on the wave to say, what makes this kata work for me? What makes it work for me? How relaxed do I need to be between techniques? How are my stances between techniques based on what I've just gone through? Where do I know I need to work on? Because I just went through this with stances only, so I know where I need to do work. Right? So you know those things based on what we just went through. Now slowly start to work on them and do your kata based on all those little points in that chart that we just learned. Okay? Ready? Yoi. Subarachi. Ready? Yoi. Now it's kata. Hien shuran. Your own speed and pace. Don't worry about me getting done before you. I'll give you some time between. Ready? Hajime. All right, Yame, good. So that's just focusing on hand Shodan, right? You probably, if you're in this class, know that kata, hand Shodan. Now, if you're a yellow belt, you're probably learning hand Nidan. So let's go through the remainder of class, just like we did for hand Shodan, but with hand Nidan, all right? So, going through it slow. So, on my count, okay? On my count. Now, this kata is longer, for sure, than hand Shodan. Kicks come into hand Shodan, or hand Nidan, right? So we have some kicks. And we have new blocks, right? We're bringing in Uchi-uke, okay? So, and we're bringing in another new technique, Maroto-uke. So that's a new block as well. Okay, so again, lots of new things, lots of different things when you compare it to hand Shodan. Okay, let's go through it together. Slow, listen for my count. Don't rush. This is the point of going through it slow. Think about each technique, go slow. Okay, ready? Yoi. Surachi, right? Yoi. And now it's kata. Heian Nidan. Make sure you have room for your kick here. Ready? Ich. Ni. Son. Shi. Go. Roke. Sich. Punch. Ku. You. Ich. Ni. Son. Shi. Go. Ich. Ni. Son. Shi. Ich. Ni. Son. Ich. Ni. Son. Shi. And Yame. Good. Okay. So even though I'm breaking these up into the 5 points, you sometimes can combine some of these. So going through it slow can also be loose, right? So you know where you can kind of combine some of these things, right? Stances only can be slow. Application can be slow until you really get a feel for it. So there's a lot of some of these things you can combine, but I would suggest that you at least try to break them out into the 5 points, just as you're learning the kata. Even once you know the kata and you know it well, start off by breaking it out of these 5 points. You're just going through it 5 more times, okay? Or 4 or 3, because pad work is different, application is different, right? But at least the 3. So slow, stances only, and loose. Those are the main 3, right? The others are going to come with either you taking another class where you learn the bunkai, or pad work when you have someone available to help you with pad work, or you're going to actually do a workout on your bag. And again, there's not much you can do because you really can't do your blocks on your bag. It's all about the strikes and kicks. So, all right, let's go through some applications. Let's talk about the beginning of Heian Nidan, where you do this window pane block, right? This double block here. Okay. So for this one, I like to imagine your opponent again is throwing this time a right, so it's coming around this direction. You're standing here completely unaware that someone is getting ready to come in and punch. You see them out of the corner of your eye. You're going to try to intercept that punch before it lands. So you want to step. Okay? Your balance is still back here, mainly, or not your balance, but your weight is back here on this back leg as you throw this, intercepting that hand before it gets to you. So as the punch is coming, this is where you're intercepting. This is where your front hand should be, right here. That keeps it away from your head for two reasons. One, I'm in a back stance. I'm creating distance between me and my opponent. Front stance, watch the difference. Here's back stance. See where my head is? I'm going to keep my hand here. Here's front stance. You see the difference? That's about 10 inches to a foot. And depending on your height, it could be more. It could be less, but it could be more if you're most likely a little bit taller than I am. So, again, there's a difference. So you're creating distance. You're keeping that block in, grabbing a hold of them, striking, grabbing a hold, striking again. As you pull them to you, strike again. Okay? Now you happen to do the same thing on the other side because that happens a lot in kata. You typically, what you do on the left, you do on the right, and that is so that you're able to demonstrate that you can do it regardless of whether the attack is coming from the right or the left. Okay? You're basically going through the same techniques exactly, a mirror, but it's really just to show that you're able to do it on the left side and the right side so that you're not just focusing on, well, I'm right-handed, so I'm going to do everything on this side or this side. I'm a better left-handed, so I'm going to do everything on this side versus this side. Okay? So again, as that strike is coming, and you can have someone practice this with you, as you see that punch coming, here, strike, pull, strike. All right? Back stance. Create distance between you and your opponent here. Your feet should be, again, if I pull my heel to heel, 90 degrees. This one's a little wide, like this, but again, that's what you're doing here. As soon as you recognize that the blow is coming, there, and this could potentially be a blow to the face, right? Maybe you're striking to their face, depends, right? Because if you're blocking here, this is about right in here, okay? It's between the elbow and the shoulder. So this fist could potentially be onto their face. As you then grab them and pull for that hammer fist again to the face, the side of the face. As the attacker, right? I'm here, he gets blocked here, maybe a punch to the face. You're going to then grab me and pull me as you throw that hammer fist to the side of the face here. Okay? That's practical application just for the beginning, just for that one little piece. And that's enough for now, just again, so you can kind of understand what we're doing. You can go through the entire kata that way and think, okay, what are we doing now? When I do this kick, and it's a kick and a back fist, right? And then you do this Shotokan, right? Maybe it's a kick where you hold them and pull them and dump them across your leg, dump them across this leg. There's a lot of variances that you can do here and think about. You just have to think about how you want to make the application work for the kata. Okay? Okay, next thing will be pad work. Like I said, if you have someone who's able to hold pads for you, great. If you're going to use your bag, just think about the techniques that you're doing for this particular kata. You're doing Maroto Uke, so try that. Punch that bag. Okay? Gyakuzuki you're doing. Try that. Punch your bag. You're doing kicks, right? As you come around here, you're doing kicks. So kick that bag. Feel what that's like. Gyakuzuki reverse punch. Kick that bag. Well, there's a block in there. But again, so if you're just thinking about the strikes, Maigiri with the rear leg, Gyakuzuki reverse punch. Okay? If you want to try some Shotoukes on there and maybe make them more strikes as opposed to blocks, put those on your bag as well, or against your pad work, your pad holder. Okay? What else are you doing? A side kick, right? From here, side kick. So a lot of technique in this particular kata that you can practice either on pads or on your bag if you have the opportunity. Okay, but again, not the major focus. Slow. We just did application. Pad work is another thing. The next two are the two that you should really work on. Stances only. Loosen up. Let's go through stances only. On my count, okay, so go through just stances on this one. And this can be difficult because, again, you tend to focus on your upper body and what your upper body is doing. But now I just want you to, again, put your hands inside your belt or on your hips, and let's go through kata together. We're going to announce kata from here. Heian-niran. Ready? So for the side kick, you can still do your kick, okay? Because the kick leads you to the next thing. All right, so if you need to watch me, that's fine. You can then rewind and go through it again with me to make sure you're doing it correctly, okay? So, ich, ni, so, shi, go, rok, sich, ich, ni, so, shi, go, ich, ni, so, shi, go, rok, sich, hach, ku, and yame. Very good. Okay, so if you need to rewind, now would be the time, and go through that again with me at my count. If you don't need to rewind, good. You're stuck with me. So the kicks, I feel like, are still important when you're going through stances only, because kicks often set you up for your next stance, right? Because after you come out of your Shotokan, from here, you're doing a block, right? Muroto uke. And then you're doing a kick. So you're not just stepping into a front stance, right? You're doing a kick, and then the front stance, and then a punch, and then a block, but that block pulls your leg back a little bit, and then you repeat. Kick, punch, block. But the block is Muroto uke. So your block is stepping forward, right? And then you're doing your turn. Okay? But the point is the kicks lead to stances, so you should still do your kicks. So what we're really focusing on is from the waist down instead of the waist up. So make sure still that your body is setting yourself up. Are your feet setting yourself up for that kick properly? Are you in a good front stance to perform that kick? Are you putting your foot back down so that you're in a front stance? Okay? So these are the things that, again, allow you to focus on stance only. This helps your kata get better and better. Okay? All right, last thing we're going to do is loosen up. Let's go through the kata. Loose. You'll hear me say relax after every technique, and I want you to physically relax. Drop your shoulders, drop the technique. Don't drop your hands down to your sides, but keep your hands where they were, for instance. Relax. Okay? Feel yourself relax. All right? Let's go through it. Ready? Relax. Announce kata. Heian-niran. Okay. Let's go through it again on my count. Ready? Hard and soft. So loosen up. Ich. Ni. Son. Shi. Go. Ich. Ni. Relax. Son. Relax. Shi. Relax. Go. Two. Relax. Ich. Relax. Ni. Relax. Son. Relax. Shi. Relax. Ich. Relax. Ni. Son. Relax. Shi. Relax. Ich. Relax. Ni. Relax. Son. Relax. Shi. Relax. Go. Relax. Ich. Relax. Ni. job. Very good. Okay, so that is the point of today's class, making your kata better. 5 good points to get through your kata in a much better, 5 ways to improve your kata. 5 ways to improve your kata. Not to get through it better, but to make your kata better when you do it overall, right? Okay, so again, go through it slow. Think about the application, okay? Do pad work if you have pads available or someone to hold pads for you, or you have a bag to work with, okay? Stances, go through stances only. Include your kicks, because kicks tend to set up steps or tend to set up stances, okay? So include your kicks. And 5, go through and loosen up. Go through the kata, but after each technique, feel your body loosen up, all right? That way when you go through the kata, again, you plotted all these little points and figured out what works best for you. When you go through the kata, you start to get better and better at it, because you really start to understand what kata is. And that's what I'm trying to impart onto you, is this is what kata really is. It's a mixture of kihon. It's a mixture of relaxing, meditating, understanding transfer of power, understanding the techniques, understanding the application of these techniques. All right? Okay, let's come back here to center. Yoi, sudachi, and get ready. Yoi. Seiza. All right, so we did not go through Heian Nidan for a second time. What I want you to do now during your meditation is go through it a second time at your own speed and pace, but a speed and pace that you would do in front of a sensei, in front of someone that you were showing how to do the kata, another student potentially, okay? But thinking about all the points that we went through today, and make sure you can get through that kata. Okay, so. Mokusuyume, Sensen Yure, Tate, Yoi, Subirachi, right? Yoi, Os. All right, students, thank you again for joining me for this class, this great beginner class on improving your kata. We'll see you in the next class. Os.